The morning sun rose slowly above the city skyline as thousands of employees rushed toward another ordinary workday. Traffic clogged every major street. Coffee shops overflowed with customers. Office towers reflected the golden light. And inside the headquarters of Sterling Industrial Systems, 39-year-old Daniel Carter arrived 20 minutes early, just like he had every day for the last 8 years. The security guards greeted him by name. Employees nodded respectfully as he walked past. Maintenance workers trusted him. Engineers relied on him. Managers called him whenever something impossible needed fixing. Daniel wasn't the CEO, he wasn't a vice president, he wasn't even a department head. Officially, he was operations director, unofficially. He was the man who kept the entire company running. His phone buzzed. A message appeared. Emma read. Daniel smiled immediately. His 11-year-old daughter sent a picture from school. A science project, a handmade volcano. Attached was a message. "Dad, don't forget my presentation Friday." Daniel typed back instantly. "Be there." A second later, another message arrived. "You always say that," Daniel laughed, then replied, "and I always show up." Because he did, ever since losing his wife 6 years earlier. Daniel had dedicated his life to two things, his daughter and his work. Both mattered, both deserved his best. As he entered the executive floor, something felt different. People were whispering. Doors closed when he approached. Conversations suddenly stopped. Daniel noticed, but said nothing. Inside the boardroom, a private meeting had already begun. Chairman Richard Holloway sat at the head of the table, 70 years old, powerful, respected, and increasingly influenced by one person, his son. 28-year-old Brandon Holloway. Brandon possessed expensive suits, luxury cars, elite education, and absolutely no experience running anything important. Unfortunately, Richard refused to see that. "He deserves a leadership opportunity," Richard insisted. Several board members exchanged nervous looks. One executive finally spoke. "Respect, Chairman. Daniel is the strongest operations director we've ever had." Richard frowned. "My son is capable," answered, because everyone knew the truth. Capability and confidence weren't the same thing. Brandon had confidence. Daniel had results. The difference mattered, unfortunately. Not enough. Later that afternoon, Daniel received an email. Executive conference room. Immediate attendance required. He entered 10 minutes later. The entire board sat waiting. Richard Holloway folded his hands. Daniel nodded. Chairman cleared his throat. "We've decided to make organizational changes." Daniel listened quietly, no emotion, no assumptions. Years in business had taught him patience. Richard continued, effective immediately. "Brandon Holloway will become the new operations director." Silence filled the room. Daniel simply stared, not shocked, just disappointed. After several moments, he asked one question. "May I ask why?" Richard shifted slightly. "We believe fresh leadership is necessary." Daniel glanced around the room. Several board members couldn't even meet his eyes. That told him everything. The decision wasn't based on performance, it was based on family. Brandon leaned back proudly. A smile spread across his face. The kind of smile people wear when they've inherited something they didn't earn. Daniel noticed, but remained calm. "I understand." Richard seemed surprised. "That's all?" Daniel nodded. "If the decision is final." Daniel stood. "Then I wish Brandon success." Room became quiet. Nobody expected that response. No anger, no argument, no bitterness, just professionalism. As Daniel walked toward the door, Brandon couldn't resist. "You know," the room froze. Daniel turned. Brandon smirked. Maybe the company just needed someone with bigger ideas. Several executives winced. Daniel studied him for a moment, then smiled politely, "Maybe," and left. The door closed for several seconds. Nobody spoke. Then Brandon laughed. "I thought he'd fight harder than that." One board member looked toward the closed door. He should have. 3 days later, problems began, small ones at first. Shipping schedules became confused. Supplier approvals slowed. Production reports arrived late. Nothing catastrophic, just enough to create concern. Brandon dismissed every warning. "We're modernizing. We're restructuring. We're optimizing." Buzzwords sounded impressive. The results didn't. 1 week later, major customers started complaining. Orders were delayed. Inventory numbers stopped matching reality. 3 manufacturing plants operated below capacity. Department managers requested meetings. Brandon ignored most of them. Instead, he focused on presentations, new logos, new initiatives, new slogans, everything except the actual work. Meanwhile, Daniel spent his days at home helping Emma prepare for her school presentation for the first time in years. He wasn't constantly answering work calls. He wasn't solving emergencies. He wasn't working weekends, and strangely, he felt peaceful until his phone started ringing. Former coworkers, managers, supervisors, engineers, everyone asked the same question. "You help?" Daniel politely refused, not because he wanted revenge, because it wasn't his responsibility anymore. 2 weeks passed. Then disaster arrived. Sterling Industrial lost its biggest manufacturing client, a contract worth $80 million annually. The customer cited repeated operational failures. The board panicked. Emergency meetings filled every calendar. Investors demanded answers. Share prices started falling. Employees grew nervous. Still, Richard Holloway defended his son. "These are temporary issues. They'll be fixed." But they weren't. Because Brandon didn't understand the systems Daniel had spent 8 years building, the relationships, the logistics, the emergency procedures, the supplier networks, the hidden details nobody noticed until they disappeared. 3 weeks after Daniel's replacement, a company stood on the edge of crisis. Production delays hit record levels, customer complaints doubled, revenue projections collapsed, and for the first time, Richard Holloway became afraid. A special board meeting was called. Executives gathered around the massive conference table. Nobody smiled, nobody joked. The atmosphere felt like a funeral. Financial reports covered the screens. Every number looked worse than the last. Finally, one board member spoke. "Chairman." Richard looked up. The executive took a deep breath. "We need to discuss Daniel Carter." The room fell silent. Nobody disagreed, because everyone knew the truth. The company hadn't lost value when Daniel left. The company had lost value when they stopped listening to him. Richard stared at the financial reports. 3 weeks, only 3 weeks, and years of progress were already disappearing for the first time. He remembered Daniel's calm expression during that final meeting. No anger, no desperation, no fear. Almost as if Daniel already knew what would happen. Richard slowly leaned back in his chair, his confidence fading with every passing second, because somewhere across the city, a humble single father was helping his daughter build a science project, while the company that had replaced him with the chairman's son was beginning to collapse without him.